Trials riding is one of my passions, and it has been since I was 4-year-old. I ride bikes hard, and I ride my trials bike really hard, no exception. This means I break it quite a lot. In the last video I stripped it down to find out everything that was wrong with it. We found worn out wheel bearings, worn out headstock bearings, and smashed end cap out at exhaust, and the clutch is on its last legs. So in this episode we're going to start to put it all back together.
It's the following day and it's raining now, so in workshop tent it's a bit noisy, so sorry about that. I might be able to filter it out in editing, but if it is a bit noisy, I'm sorry about that. But we've cleaned up the shaft on the triple clamp, but I'm satisfied now. We can put that back together. I wanted a punch so I could knock the bearing back in nice and straight, and I found this. It's actually part of a sink support, and I just unscrewed it and it's pretty much perfect. It fits on, so I can knock the bearing on with it. So yeah, I'm going to clean that up first so we can use that to knock the bearing onto the shaft, and then we can just whip this back together. Easy job. So we've been and got some new seals from Rev Shed. For the price they were, I don't know why I didn't buy them before, to be fair, because I think they were about £3, something ridiculous. We've cleaned everything up. We've cleaned up the shaft so the bearing should go on really nice. I said shaft. And I've repacked the bearing with the proper grease, so that should resist water a little bit better. So yeah, let's put the seal on first. Seal's same as bottom than it is at top, so just drop that into position so the lip faces upwards going into the frame, just to seal it in. And then here's the bearing that I've just repacked. Let's have a little bit more in it. So that's packed in. Let's have a tiny bit of anti-seize just to stop that from sticking on for the next guy. I don't know whether I'll need it or not, but got a little makeshift tool for pressing it on. And it's really important you don't bend the cage that holds the taper roller bearings in position. There you go. Yeah, that'll fit on lovely. So it's not moving around. That's the first one on. The top one just sits in the top of the frame, this one. So we'll pack that with grease, fit the top seal, offer it all back up, tighten up the main nut. Right, and that's ready for refitting now. I just need a bit of grease on the top bearing. If the wind and the weather is annoying you coming through on the video, it's annoying me too, but there is something you can do about it. That is all you've got to do is hit like and leave a comment saying that's really annoying on video. And what that'll do is that'll introduce more content to other people who like same kind of content as you, and it'll grow the channel. Following on from that, I can get better premises, so I can get a better workshop, so you can help. Also, we're approaching 10,000 subscribers, and I never thought we'd ever get to 10,000 subscribers. I thought 10,000 subscribers were people who did it for a living. It turns out you can barely scratch to pay for your actual time for doing the videos. So it's not as big as I thought it was, but it's still a milestone that I want to achieve pretty soon. So if you could just nip down and subscribe, it's free, it's not going to cost you a thing. Hit the subscribe button and also hit the notification bell, and you'll see all the new content that I put up. So that's it, everything's ready to refit, everything's cleaned up, ready to put back in.
We made sure the top and bottom race were immaculate with a bit of brake cleaner and a nice clean rag. Then we applied a little bit of that grease. Drop in the top bearing, fit the seal, push the stem through, and then make sure the nut is on with the little lip to the bottom.
At times you think you've nailed it, but then you feel your mind slipping away. And that's not pucker, mate.
Tiny little bit of play. You just feel a tiny clunk when you're pulling it like that. So nip it up, and what you're trying to find is same with any taper roller bearing. I was doing this when I was 17, repairing my Mini at side of the road when it used to break. The brakes used to foul on it all the time, so I used to have to take the rear drum off. Taper roller bearings, exactly the same thing. So you have to adjust the taper rollers so that there's no play, but I can feel a tiny little bit of play, but there's also no resistance. So when you turn it, it's free to turn. The trouble I've got is here, when I try and turn the entire triple clamp, it's moving the nut. So we're just going to have to try and wing it take the slop out of it and then adjust it when everything else is tightened up. So that's took the slop out of it. But it will settle in and you might have to adjust it again once you've got everything together. Ooh. Sure why that felt like threads were damaged. Not like there's any damage. Well, it's definitely going in straight. It's not cross-threaded. So put a bit of weight into it. And see if it frees out. Not like that at all. It is going, but if I carry on with that, it's possible it might damage the rest of the threads. But it's straight, it's not cross-threaded or anything. It's kind of strange. I wonder if when I've been knocking it, it may have knocked this part and deformed it. So I may have to run a tap down. Because that is not happy. The bolt's fine. It's not alright, but I'm just not happy with how it's slowing down. I think if I remember rightly, when this came out, it rolled out for the fingers.
Right. Just to get you in here, the threads aren't that bad. I think what I may have done is when I was knocking off the bottom race, I may have knocked the top corner or one of these edges and just sent it off circle just a little bit, so I might have ovaled it just slightly. Now, I've run the screwdriver around the threads and there's no interruptions in threads. Threads are fine. So I literally think that's all it is. I think I've just run it off oval a little bit. I mean, it starts alright, but then all of a sudden it gets a little bit tight. So we've got a good 3 turns there and then it gets tight. I don't know. Let's put some lube on it and run it down.
We definitely don't need to tap it because the thread looks perfect. Like I said, I think I've just may have oval the tubing a little bit. In which case, if it's lubricated and we run this bolt in, it should straighten it enough. So it doesn't damage anything, doesn't damage threads and stuff. So if it damages the threads inside, we are in trouble. I would have to replace the whole shaft and I bet you can't get them separate. I think that's going to be alright. A bit of grease on it. And if you remember when I took it off, it was finger tight that. So you may have wanted a bit of Loctite on rebuild, and now you don't need it. You've got nature's Loctite, which is cross-threaded. Just joke. Yeah, I think I'm going to be alright with that. It is kind of tight. Oh, it's got really loose towards the end. I'm pretty sure that's what's happened. With that bottom race being so hard to get out, I've just put a bit too much pressure on the tube. Just oval it a little bit. Alright, so I'm satisfied. I can rebuild that. It doesn't roll in with your fingers, but it is going in. It's not. Threads aren't shiny as if they're crossing or anything. There's no damage. Just showed you that sometimes a simple job can go a little bit wrong. If you're a moron like me. I'll put a fork in, just keep it straight. Just keep it reasonably straight. And then we can adjust this. And we've done, we can just put the fork back in. Also, we can find out if there's any play in the headstock bearings again. Right, they feel tight. Very tight. That should be rolling from side to side now. But it might just be the bearings settling. Pushing the grease out of the way, so we'll work it around a little bit. You get a little bit of resistance when you first put taper rollers in. If you pack them with grease, because it's forcing the grease out of the way. Yeah, that's getting better. But it does want backing off a little bit. Yeah, no claim that. I do have this job to do as well, the headstock bearings on a GSXR. So if you want to see that, don't forget to subscribe, hit the notify button. Yeah, the clunk's back. Just nip that off a tad. Still got a clunk. Clunk's gone. So being as soon as I let it go, it rocks to one side. That's all it there. Nip the top knot off. And then I'm going to run it at that. So I think it's going to want adjusting once I've ridden the bike anyway. Yeah, that's better. Got no play. It turns nice and free. I think once that's settled in, we'll be all right with that. So I'm going to leave this for now. I'll take this spoke back out. Look at that, a tent's leaking. It's getting wet. Yeah, I'll leave that to settle. So, next job then.
Right, so exhaust silencer needs repairing. So all the air filter, rear mudguard needs to come off. May as well all come off in one bit. Alright, just been for a quick wee and a tea. Just remind everybody you can get mugs on the YouTube shop. Off Unplugged merchandise, and I've had it on for a good 18 months. I still haven't sold anything yet, so if you want a bit first person, fill your boots. So we're going to get the exhaust off. Little 8mm bolt there, with a 10 on the other side. If I recall, these are a bit of a pain. But anyway, let's just crack on. To get exhaust off, you've got to take the top bolt out of the rear master cylinder, and that holds the bracket on for the exhaust. And once that one's out and that one's out, it just comes off. I've got to say, out of all trials bikes that I've worked on, the TRS has been the nicest organised, and with the fixings in the right position, so you don't have to mess around too much with them. Because I remember, I think these were based on a gasgas. In fact, let's be fair about it, I think the original idea was robbed off a gasgas, but now they've refined a few things. Hope I'm not speaking out of turn saying that, but let's be fair, I think that's what everybody thinks. Yeah, I remember on the older gasgas, the air filter box and the seat unit, the 4 bolts that used to hold that on were such a pain in the arse to get on and get straight. Most of the time you'd see people riding around just with a couple of bolts holding them in because they were so difficult to get in. And if you ever lost these captive screws, you were screwed. Literally. And if I remember rightly, they were quite expensive to buy the proper ones. So I believe the rear master cylinder has to come out of the way. There you go. So let's pop that out of its seat. Here we go. Now we can get that off bench and properly work on it. The end cap, you can see it's come loose. It's not that bad, but we can see it's been repaired before. Now, I don't recall doing that, but I don't recall that ever originally having one in it. I think that's someone's screwed that in. But whether it's had a problem since before I bought it, I can't remember, to be fair. I've had it that long. But let's get this end cap off. What happened is I crashed and this fell off. It just cracked where the captive nuts go. So it just pulled it off. And the lads at Hoot and Lodge, they helped me out. They came out, they got some more captive screws and some Sikaflex. So we just glued it back together and got it ready. And then I kind of forgot about it because that's how I run my trials bikes. I just run them until they refuse to do anything else, and then I have to repair everything. You can call me for it, I don't mind. Say what you like about me. I like to enjoy bikes, I like to ride them, and I like to spend as little time as I can repairing them until they force me to do it. I don't know how you are. What type of rider are you, people who are watching? Do you like to keep them immaculate and clean them and make them look brand new before you go out and ride? Or do you just ride them? Ride them hard, put them away wet. So I've always been one to just ride them hard, put them away wet. I just treat them like a machine that has a job to do. And when they break, fix them. Or just make them work for the time being. Well, that's all the screws out. So it looks like, let's give that a clean. It looks to me like one of those screws has been put in afterwards. And this is all Sikaflex that's remaining stuck to it. Yeah, that's definitely an afterthought. I can't recall if I did that or not. But this bike was virtually brand new, so I guess I must have. Memory's going, I'm getting old. There you've got it. You can see where there's been the original captive screw, sorry, captive nut, and then that looks just like someone's put a self-tapper on it. Possibly me. I'm not sure. I can't recall that, but I must have been in a bad position if it was me doing that. Let's just give it a good clean up. Yeah, normally I wouldn't just drill a hole in the exhaust and put a screw in it. So yeah, I think this will be a bit of an easy fix. Right. In here, this box. In this box, I've got loads of different fixings that we've nicked off of other, like vehicles we've broken, vehicles we've stripped down. Now there should be some captive fixings in here, captive nuts maybe. Oh, there's one. But this is the type of thing that we always save. It's a better one. Oh, look at that. Straight away I found one. So we'll have got a few of these captive fixings, I think. Because we always save them, just throw in this box, and then you come into a situation like this where you need them. You don't have to start searching through dealer networks, and so hopefully I'll have a couple more of them. Put one there and one there. It won't hold it that firmly in position, but the nut on the back of it and the nice flatness of the captive bolt will pull it against the outside of the exhaust, against this part. So you can get it fairly tight without it pulling out. And plus we've still got two, well technically three, that aren't pulled out. I've got to go to the nut and bolt stockist anyway, so I'll try and pick up some more of these. We can leave that for now. Another job that I'd forgotten about. The bike's been standing for probably a month at a time while I've not been riding it. And every time I get it out, it seems like the clutch gets lighter. And then I've also noticed when I get into the higher gears, and I don't often get into the higher gears where I ride, I'll tell you about that later. It seems like the clutch is slipping a little bit. Or if I set off in fourth, which I mean we all do it, don't we? You set off in fourth every now and then, and it takes a while for it to gather pace while engine revs are quite high, so I know the clutch is slipping. But there's a little trick that you can do with these so you don't have to buy a new clutch pack. I know it's probably best just to buy a new clutch pack, so if you've got the means, you're probably best off just buying a new clutch pack, to be fair. And yeah, the S3 ones are good, if not better, than the genuine ones. But I didn't say that. So as a way of checking it, you don't have to drop the oil out, you don't have to mess around. Just throw it on its side, first kickstart off. Don't like how that feels. I'm going to use a socket on that. There you go. Did not like how that felt. Alright, and this cover just pops off, just be careful. There's a couple of things that lurk around here that you can lose quite easily. That bearing being one of them, and the little washer underneath it. So I'll put that back there, and then rest that down there somewhere. And then we've just got a 10mm bolt in the middle of the clutch pack. So once that is out, this should lift out now. That's the whole pack. And then the thickness of this pack is super important. If you don't get the thickness right, you're either not going to get enough pressure on the plates, or you're going to get too much pressure on plates. And that determines, the thickness. If it's wider, then I believe you've got a heavier clutch. If it's narrower, you've got a lighter clutch. So my clutch is light. So what I would need to do is take out one of these steel plates and replace it with a steel plate that's a little bit thicker. I do believe I've got a set somewhere of thicker plates from one of the other times that I had a similar problem to this. Right, so the bearing stayed where it was. Let me just put this down somewhere. Fairly clean. So what I need to do is I need to get this into pieces and measure the thickness of the clutch plates as a pack. And they need to be roughly 10mm. Thanks to Factory Kev for that information. So the clutch is quite light. Alright, this is the internals of the clutch pack. Ooh! Now I can see there, I don't know if you can see it on camera, but I can see some little pieces of aluminium. Just focusing on that. If you just look right there, see it? Little pieces, grains of aluminium, and it's all the way around. So it'd be interesting to know where that slot's come from. Let's take the pressure plate off. These are all individual inside, so they'll actually fall off as soon as you lift this one. Alright, friction plate looks in decent condition. Steel, if we add this one down or not. There's one of them that we made a little bit thinner. Nothing broke, nope. Yeah, feels a little bit thicker. And that's it, that's all your lot. So with all these together then now, effectively, it should be 10mm. And that thickness should be 10mm. I do have some calipers. I've got a lovely set of calipers for just this kind of job, but unfortunately my son likes them also. So what I've got here is a 10mm. Yeah, that's not quite 10mm. There's quite a lot of movement around it. So I'd love to say, yeah, we just need a new pack. But you know how I am on this channel. I like to do things as cheaply as humanly possible. And I know I've got another set somewhere which may have some thicker plates in it. So we'll have a look for some thicker plates.
One of the 4 bolts that holds on the sump plate had pulled out of the frame. It had taken all the threads with it, and we'd already repaired it once. We'd taken it from an 8mm up to a 10mm with some helicoils, but those had pulled out as well. So we decided to take them right out to 12 with some fresh threads, and here's the solution.
Supervisor's here again.
No, he's not.
It's been on film, bless him. So I'm just going to drill out this frame. It's going out to 12mm, and we're going to put a piece of threaded 12 bar. I've been and got that from Nut and Bolt Place. So we're going to screw that in, and then we're going to drill a hole down the centre of this. It's going to be a time cert, but a homemade time cert. So first I'm going to run a little 10 down it. Bring it out first. Oh dear. That's alright. So I've just got all the threads out. Put the size up. And this one is a 10.4, I think. Lovely. We're eventually going to get up to a 10.8. Beautiful. Lovely stuff. Let's have a bit more on that. I think if we lube that up,
It's number 3 and all into that.
it is a straight onto a number 3, yeah. So we're gonna struggle a bit here.
Keep it lubricated.
Oh, certainly.
Actually, at this stage, it might help if you put some ovality into it. Do you think?
Ovality.
Yeah. I'm sure you know what that is.
Ovality, what did you do to me? Ovality. Is that a word, Dad, or did you just bro science that?
Well, you know what it is.
I do, and it makes a lot of sense, but I was just thinking, did you just invent that word? If you did, it's genius.
I've used it before, but...
Yeah, but does anybody else know what you're talking about?
Well, there's not many people smarter than me.
Isn't there?
As I used to be, anyway.
Right, okay.
Old
Yeah,
age
understood.
does strange things to you.
I know, I'm here. Right, it's cutting out nicely. Well, I've got nothing to lose, Dad. If this all goes wrong, then I've got to do what I had to do before I started this, which is basically weld that up, TIG weld it, and then start again with an 8mm hole. So, I mean, it all goes terribly, terribly wrong if I snap this in, which I could do because it's a number 3, the final stage. But never mind, we take these risks, don't we, Dad? No, I'm not. Just running an inch at a time. Sounds a bit rude. I thought you worked in inches. You were shouting at me last week.
Yeah, but...
In English. No, I'd have to give this some real knuckle to break this in. Don't you think?
And that's when it happens.
What, when I say
When you
things like
start
that?
thinking that.
So because of noises I make with my face,
Exactly.
it breaks. I know you knew because I learned it all off you. So all my mistakes are all your mistakes. So if anybody watching this sees problems and sees things I'm doing wrong, it's not me, it's him. Because he taught me everything I know. About 42 years ago, Dad. I think more than that. About 45 years ago. I were in garage with you. We had XS500, sliding down tank. Never ever let me forget that. Still brings it up.
With an open zip.
You ever mention the XS500, it's because I slid down the tank with my overalls on and zip scratched his fuel tank.
And it was immaculate.
Before that,
Emphasise was.
I broke it basically. Never forgiven me. The reason I'm struggling with this a bit because it's a stage 3. I'm straight in with stage 3. No foreplay. I just want to get threads as far down as I can. Because if you look inside the frame, you can only see half.
Yeah.
Half of them's missing because that's all open inside. It's like open cast.
But if you,
Not
can
open
get,
cast,
if you
but-
can get past that,
Yeah, get as far down as I can.
be more strength, won't it?
Exactly.
How do you run?
No, I don't. It's not going much further, is it? Oh, hang on. It's a fair way in, but like you say, the more I can get it, the further I can get it in, the better.
Don't call me Shirley.
And don't call me Shirley. We have clearance, Clarence. Roger, Roger. What's the vector, Victor?
One of the best comedy films.
Oh, it's just genius. Work it a little bit at a time and then move it backwards. So just roll it round until you feel it hit that stop, and then you'll get a gentle cut into aluminium. Or if you're from America, aluminum. That's how it is. Who cares? They don't ride trials. I don't think they do. Do they? They ride trials.
Do you remember the 70s?
Yeah.
That Leger.
It was French, but I think there were a Canadian that used to ride. What is his name now? It's Weren't he on Kickstarter? He was a commentator in Kickstarter. What was his name? Jack Stites. What it?
Stites. Yeah.
What was his name now? If anybody can remember that, who used to commentate with Peter Purvis, the American. I can hear his voice now.
Yeah, I can.
I can hear Eddie Lejeune doing flick turns, going up that 180 turn, and going, oh, isn't that nice?
Really good for
Yeah, you were, yeah.
On a 350 Honda.
Oh, isn't that nice?
Big, heavy lump it were, but it were. They used the motor.
Oh, with it end. So that's as far as we're going to get. Through in the threaded bar in. So now the trick is I need to cut that off, drill a hole down centre of it, 8mm.
The plan is to take this 12mm threaded bar, screw that inside the frame, and then tap it out with an 8mm thread down the centre of it. So in effect, we're making a time cert of our own. They don't make 12mm time certs to 8mm. I did have an engineer friend who said he could do it on his lathe in a few minutes, but I do like to do things myself.
Drilled into the frame, done. But I need to mark that better so I can cut it off.
Apart from that, you can breathe now.
That's as far as that's going to go, so I need to mark it. I don't know if you can see that now, but there's some new threads in there.
It's old Fred.
So that should do it. They're 12mm, and now just to cut the threaded bar.
India.
Yep,
That's
India.
it.
We cut the threaded bar to the length we required, and then deburred it.
Nick. On your boxer back. That's it.
I think I'm in centre, but bugger it, let's go for it.
You're going like through.
Yeah, I might as well, because I've got to tap it, haven't I?
It's a way of finding out if it is true as well.
That's really hot.
Might be hot that. Take a look at my head, it's real. You don't believe what I say, just feel.
Gotta lock her up in a trunk!
No big hunk will steal her away from me.
Get down! Okay.
It's no good if it's not straight.
It is straight.
But you said it weren't.
It's all true now, so we'll soon find out. Living down. Got a roving eye, and that is why she satisfies my soul.
Buys my soul.
Buys my soul. Oh! I've just about aced it.
Yeah.
Look at that! Right down middle. It's a tiny, tiny bit off, but that's negligible.
Your mate will get it better.
Oh, I'm sure he will, but he's got all the correct tools. He's got a lathe, Dad.
Yeah, well.
I don't want to. I like to do things myself. I don't like to. What's the point in doing it and then having someone else take all the glory?
It's not glory.
Point. It is glory.
It's not glory.
I think it's glory.
In fact,
I like to be able to stand back and say I did all that job, even though, despite it not being perfect.
what's this here?
I like it.
What's this here?
It's a camera, yeah. And
Yeah.
What I'm doing is I'm saying to
editing?
people, listen, what I'm doing, I'm saying to people that you don't have to go and get a professional to do it. You can do it perfectly adequately on your own. And it doesn't have to be
Nothing
super
wrong with
accurate.
admitting that you can't do the job.
But I'm not admitting that I can't do the job. I can't do it to that level. I can do it, and I can make it work. That's all, and that's all I care about.
It's my show.
It's my soul.
Right, I'm ready.
Right. Okie dokie.
Now you've done that bit of it.
See you later. Ow. That is very hot. Well, I'm not a million miles off of that. I'm actually happy. Just need to put a tap down it now.
Stop what you're doing. Wait! I've got something to say. And all jokes aside, I want more. And all jokes aside, I want more. And all jokes aside, I want more. And who's like me now?
Ho ho ho! I'm actually getting there. So we're a third of the way through. So I've made my little homemade time cert. That's what it looks like. Looks kind of rough from there, to be fair. But all that matters is it's got thread on the outside, thread on the inside, and it'll screw all the way in and go right home. And what I've got here is a nut bolt, M8. Screw the bolt in all the way up. Couple of spanners, tighten the nut right up to my new time cert, and that should just screw in. It is a bit wobbly, I'm not going to lie, but once this time cert's in, it won't matter. Okay. That goes all the way in. Tighten up the nut, and then undo the nut, and it should just stay in. Just hold it in there. So there you go. Granted, it looks rough, but that is hard as iron. That will not come out. That's a 12 down to an 8 time cert that I've made. Well, I'm happy now to put that sump plate back on.
Sometimes you need a new set of eyes to see the world around you. One man's treasure is another man's trash. It's never been more true. See the world in flames around you. Look out the window and the sun is shining and all is peaceful. A million different people. See that certain things a million different ways. No reality. You choose exactly what you say. Watching, waiting. No reality. You choose exactly what you say. Watching, waiting.
Lovely. Another good job done, cheap. I'll not put the exhaust front pipe on just yet until I've got the silencer fixed. So back to exhaust. What I've decided to do, I've been digging through my little nuts and bolt box, and I found some of these little clips, and they're 5mm ones, but the 5mm ones won't reach all the way onto that, and then I can't get a bolt in. So I found an M6 one which is a bit bigger. There's already a hole for whatever reason that's been drilled in there, so I may as well just drill out to 6 and put a 6mm bolt in. I'm going to shorten that down, obviously, shorten it, make it a real stubby one. That's just me digging through the stuff that I've got and making do. All the rest of them all ready to screw in. I've got 4 screws. That's going to be better than new once it's all tightened up. And it's just going to show. I could go and spend and buy a brand new end cap.
I'm not sure how much they are, but I've heard they're not very cheap. And this hole's already been drilled. I can't recall doing that, like I say. But it's already there, so unless I'm going to buy a whole new exhaust, I may as well just use that. So let's just crack on and get that sealed back up and done.
Sometimes you need a new lease of life to face the world around you. One man's devil is another man's God. It's never been more true. See the world in flames.
There it is, back together. And it might not look perfect, but it's super tight in there. That is not going to fall out. It's got 4 bolts in it. I should be probably changing the screws. I don't like flat screws on the end of here. But that is absolutely solid now. And I would have to have a big crash to knock that out. So I'm happy with it. Until I crash again, which is really likely.
Next is the front wheel bearings, and these are a little bit easier than the rear wheel bearings because there's just a little tiny bit of a lip on the inside where the spacer is, so you can get a bar in and knock the bearing out on the far side. So we knock the bearings out, give them a little clean up with some Scotch-Brite on the inside surfaces, a little bit of copper slip on the outer edge, and we knock them back in using the appropriately sized socket. Taking care not to forget the spacer. If you forget the spacer, you'll have to knock the bearing out again, and then it's no good, you'll have to buy a new one. The last Trials bike video didn't seem to be too popular. It had just over 500 views and we actually lost 5 subscribers because of it. We've got one more video to do, but if this video doesn't get much more attention than the last one, the next one will be the last one. To be honest, the Trials bike content was just a little bit of an experiment to see if anybody were interested in it, and so far it's not looking that good. But if you do want to see more Trials bike content, don't forget to show some love. Leave us a like, leave us a comment, and don't forget to subscribe.
Howdy. You had a go at me for saying lumpy trunk.